Right now, somewhere in your mind, there is a program running that decides exactly how much money flows into your life. You did not write this program. You did not choose it. It was installed in you before you were old enough to question it. And every day, without your awareness, this program filters out the opportunities, the ideas and the people that could change your financial reality forever. This is why some people work 16 hours a day and barely survive while others seem to attract wealth without visible effort. It is not about intelligence. It is not about talent. It is not about luck. It is about the financial identity that your subconscious mind accepted as truth before you ever earned your first dollar. Neville Goddard taught that your entire outer world is a mirror reflecting your inner state. And when it comes to money, that mirror is brutally precise. If your inner state says, "I am someone who always struggles with money," then no amount of hustle, no business plan, no investment strategy will override that program. Because your subconscious is 5,000 times more powerful than your conscious mind. And right now it is running a financial program that you never agreed to. Today, you will learn the 4 invisible money programs that keep 95% of people financially stuck. And you will learn the quantum method to rewrite each one permanently. To understand why most people struggle with money their entire lives, you need to understand something that neuroscience has confirmed, but that Neville Goddard taught decades before the science existed. Your subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between what is real and what is vividly imagined. The same neural pathways fire, the same chemicals are released, the same emotional responses occur. For your brain, feeling wealthy and being wealthy activate identical neurological patterns. This is not a metaphor. This was demonstrated in brain scanning studies where subjects who imagined performing a task developed nearly the same neural connections as those who physically performed it. Now apply this to money. If you spend your days feeling financially stressed, your brain is literally wiring itself for poverty. Every worried thought about bills, every anxious check of your bank account, every fearful conversation about money is training your nervous system to operate in scarcity mode. And a nervous system in scarcity mode makes decisions from fear, repels opportunities and filters out possibilities that do not match its programming. In quantum physics, this connects to the observer effect. Reality exists as waves of probability until an observer collapses them into a specific outcome. You are the observer of your financial reality, and the lens through which you observe your financial identity determines which possibilities collapse into your experience. Neville Goddard said it plainly: you do not attract what you want, you attract what you are. And what you are financially is whatever your subconscious accepted as truth about money before you were 7 years old. That is the program we are going to rewrite today. Before I reveal the 4 invisible money programs, I need you to do something right now. Hit the like button. This is not about numbers. When you take a physical action that is coherent with your intention to change, your subconscious registers that coherence. It is the first micro-act of your new financial identity. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you do not miss the upcoming videos where we go deeper into each principle. And write in the comments the words, "I am wealth." Not "I want wealth," not "I hope for wealth." I am wealth. Those 3 words are a direct instruction to your subconscious mind, and when you write them, you are casting the first vote for a new financial reality. Do it now. The first invisible money program is called the Scarcity Inheritance. And it is the most damaging of all because it was installed in you by the people who loved you most. Before you were 7 years old, your brain was operating primarily in theta waves. This is the same brainwave state used in hypnosis. Everything you heard, everything you witnessed, everything you felt about money during those years went directly into your subconscious without any critical filter. If your parents argued about money, your subconscious recorded money equals conflict. If your mother said "we cannot afford that" with pain in her voice, your subconscious recorded "wanting things I cannot have" equals pain. If your father worked himself to exhaustion and still could not provide, your subconscious recorded "hard work does not guarantee security." Does this sound familiar? Can you trace your current financial patterns back to phrases you heard as a child? Money does not grow on trees. Rich people are greedy. We are not that kind of family. People like us do not get those opportunities. Each of these phrases is a line of code in your financial program. And they have been running in the background of your mind for decades, silently shaping every financial decision you make. Neville Goddard taught that your concept of self is the blueprint from which your reality is built, and your concept of self around money was largely written before you could read. Think of it like the operating system of a computer. You can install any software you want, you can download the best financial apps, read every wealth book, attend every seminar. But if the operating system underneath says money is dangerous, money causes conflict, there is never enough, then every application you install will malfunction. Not because the apps are broken, but because the operating system rejects them. A woman in her 50s once described this to me with painful clarity. She said, "I have read every book about abundance. I have taken courses. I have made vision boards. But every time money starts flowing in, something happens. An emergency, an unexpected expense, a deal that falls through at the last minute. It is like there is an invisible ceiling above me that I cannot break through." That invisible ceiling is the scarcity inheritance. Her subconscious was programmed with a financial identity that included a maximum limit. And every time her external reality approached that limit, her subconscious created the circumstances to bring her back to her programmed set point, not as punishment, as protection. Because to her subconscious, the amount of money she was conditioned to have feels safe. Anything beyond it feels dangerous. And the subconscious will always choose safety over growth unless you consciously rewrite the program. What can you do today? Tonight, write down the 3 most common phrases you heard about money growing up. Do not analyze them, just record them. Then, beside each one, write a new statement that your body can accept without resistance. Not the opposite extreme. A bridge statement. If your old program says money is hard to come by, your bridge might be "I am learning that money can flow in unexpected ways." If your old program says rich people are greedy, your bridge might be "I am discovering that wealth can be a force for good." These bridge statements begin loosening the grip of the scarcity inheritance without triggering your subconscious defense system. But the second invisible money program goes even deeper, because it operates not in your thoughts, but in your nervous system. The second invisible money program is called the poverty frequency, and it explains why positive affirmations about money almost never work. Your body has an electromagnetic field. The HeartMath Institute has proven that the heart alone generates a field 5,000 times stronger than the brain. This field is not contained inside your body. It extends several feet beyond you, interacting with people, environments, and according to quantum theory, the field of probability itself. When your body is chronically stressed about money, it emits a frequency, not a metaphorical frequency, a measurable electromagnetic signal that communicates scarcity to everything around you. Have you noticed that when you are worried about money, everything seems to cost more, opportunities seem to dry up, and people around you seem to tighten up? That is not coincidence. That is your poverty frequency repelling the very things you want to attract. Neville Goddard called this living from the state of lack. He taught that the state you inhabit determines the reality you experience, not the state you visit in a 5-minute meditation, the state you live in, the state your body carries throughout the day. And here is the problem. You cannot talk your way out of a poverty frequency. You cannot affirm your way out of it, because affirmations are mental events. And your body is an electromagnetic transmitter that does not care what your mind says. It broadcasts what it feels. A man in his early 60s told me something I will never forget. He said, "I spent 20 years saying I am abundant every morning. 20 years and nothing changed. One day I stopped the affirmations and just sat with my hand on my heart. I asked myself, how would it feel if money were not a problem? Not someday, right now. And for the first time in my life, my body relaxed. My shoulders dropped, my breathing slowed. And in that moment, I felt something I had never felt before. I felt safe with money, not rich, not successful, just safe. And that tiny shift, that feeling of financial safety in my body, changed more in 3 months than 20 years of affirmations. That man discovered the difference between a mental declaration and a somatic state change. His affirmations were running on an operating system that rejected them. But when he changed what his body felt, he changed the frequency his field was broadcasting, and the quantum field responded to the new signal. There is something else about the poverty frequency that makes it particularly insidious. It is contagious. When you spend time around people who are broadcasting scarcity, your field begins to synchronize with theirs. This is not spiritual speculation. It is documented physics. When two electromagnetic fields interact, they tend to entrain, meaning the weaker one synchronizes to the stronger one. If you are surrounded by people who constantly complain about money, who speak about the economy with fear, who treat every financial conversation as if it were a funeral, their poverty frequency is pulling yours down. Not because they are bad people, because electromagnetic fields synchronize. This is why Neville Goddard said your environment is a manifestation of your state, but it also reinforces your state. It is a feedback loop. Your poverty frequency attracts scarcity-minded people. Those people reinforce your poverty frequency, and the cycle continues. Breaking this cycle does not necessarily mean cutting people out of your life. It means becoming aware of when your field is being influenced and choosing to return to your own frequency rather than matching theirs. Think of yourself as a radio tower. Your job is to broadcast your signal, not to receive and amplify everyone else's static. The consequence of not addressing the poverty frequency is that you remain stuck in a loop where your mind says one thing and your body broadcasts the opposite. And the field always listens to the louder signal. Your body wins. Every time. What can you do today? Before any financial decision, before checking your bank account, before opening bills, place your hand on your heart. Take 3 slow breaths and ask yourself one question. What would financial safety feel like in my body right now? Not wealth, not millions, just safety. Let your body answer. You might feel your shoulders drop, your jaw unclench, your breathing deepen. That physical response is the beginning of a new frequency. And every time you access it before engaging with money, you are retraining your nervous system to associate money with safety instead of threat. But the third invisible program is the one that sabotages people who are already on the path to wealth, because it activates precisely when money starts flowing. Before I reveal the third program, I want to share something with you. If you are recognizing these patterns in your own financial life, if something in this video is showing you why your relationship with money has been stuck despite your best efforts, then share this video with someone you know who struggles financially. Not because they need fixing, but because understanding that their struggle is not a character flaw, but a subconscious program can change their entire relationship with money. And if you are ready to go deeper, if you want a complete system to reprogram your financial identity at the subconscious level, I created a guide called Awaken Your Quantum Power: 7 Principles for an Abundant Life. It includes the 7 quantum principles that govern wealth creation, 21 I Am declarations calibrated specifically for financial reprogramming, and a 21-day plan to rewire your subconscious relationship with money permanently. The link is in the pinned comment and in the description below. Subscribe because in the next videos, we will go deeper into each of these principles with techniques you can apply tonight. The third invisible money program is called the upper limit response, and it is the reason why many people experience a strange pattern. Money comes in, and then immediately something happens to take it away. An unexpected expense, a car breaking down, a health issue, a bad investment. It is as if there is a thermostat inside you set to a specific financial temperature, and every time you exceed it, the system kicks in to bring you back down. Does this sound familiar? Have you ever had a great financial month followed immediately by something that wiped out the gains? That is not bad luck. That is your subconscious protecting you from an identity crisis. Because when your external reality exceeds your internal identity, your subconscious perceives it as a threat. Not a financial threat, an identity threat. Your subconscious would rather keep you poor and consistent with your self-concept than allow you to become wealthy and inconsistent with who you believe you are. Neville Goddard understood this profoundly. He taught that before you can have something permanently, you must become someone who naturally has it, not pretend to be that person. Actually shift your identity at the subconscious level. Think of it like a thermostat in your house. If the thermostat is set to 20 degrees and you open a window and let in warm air, the temperature rises temporarily. But the thermostat detects the deviation and kicks on the cooling system until the room returns to 20 degrees. Your financial thermostat works the same way. You can force money in through hard work, lucky breaks, or temporary hustles. But if your internal setting says I am a person who earns $50,000 a year, your subconscious will cool your finances back to that set point every time. The consequence of not raising your thermostat is that you spend your entire life in a financial loop. Earn, lose, always returning to the same approximate level, never breaking through to a new baseline, because you are fighting the most powerful force in your psychology, your identity. And identity always wins. What can you do today? Identify your financial thermostat. What is the amount of money that feels normal to you? Not the amount you want, the amount that does not trigger anxiety when you have it, and does not trigger panic when you approach it from below. That number is your current set point. Now imagine raising it by just 20%, not doubling it, not making it 10 times larger, just 20%. And for the next week, practice feeling what it would be like to have that slightly higher amount be your new normal. This gradual approach works because it does not trigger the upper limit response. You are not trying to leap from 50,000 to 1,000,000. You are simply adjusting the thermostat by 1 degree at a time. And each degree you raise it, your subconscious accepts as the new baseline. Over time, those small adjustments compound into a completely new financial identity. There is a detail about the upper limit response that most people miss. It does not only activate when money comes in, it activates when you feel good about money, even momentarily. Have you ever had a moment where you felt genuinely optimistic about your finances? Maybe you received good news? Maybe your business had a great week and then almost immediately a wave of anxiety washed over you. A thought like this is too good to last, or something bad is coming. That is the upper limit response activating at the emotional level before it even needs to create an external circumstance. Your subconscious detected that you were exceeding your emotional set point around money and immediately generated anxiety to bring you back down. This is why some people unconsciously sabotage their own financial success. They pick fights with partners right after a financial win. They make impulsive purchases that drain their accounts. They agree to bad deals they would normally reject. These are not random behaviors. They are the subconscious thermostat cooling the room back to its programmed temperature. Once you see this pattern, you cannot unsee it, and that awareness alone begins to weaken its grip. Because the upper limit response operates in the dark, it needs you to be unconscious of it to function. The moment you catch it in action, the moment you say, I see what is happening, this is my thermostat trying to cool me down, you interrupt the automated response. And in that interruption, you create space to choose a different response, to stay at the higher temperature, to let the new set point stabilize. Now, the fourth program is the most paradoxical of all because it involves the one thing that seems essential for making money, but that actually repels it at the quantum level. The fourth invisible money program is called the force paradox, and it is the reason why the harder you try to make money, the more it seems to run from you. In quantum physics, there is a principle that observation affects outcome. The more desperately you observe and chase a particle, the more unpredictable it becomes. Money behaves the same way in your experiential reality. When you chase money from desperation, you are emitting a frequency that says, I do not have enough. And the quantum field mirrors that back with more experiences of not having enough. Neville Goddard taught this with a clarity that most modern teachers still miss. He said that the feeling of the wish fulfilled is the creative act, not the wanting, not the hoping, not the pursuing, the feeling that it is already done. Apply this to money and the paradox becomes clear. The person who needs money desperately works harder, pushes more, grasps tighter. And each of those actions broadcasts the frequency of scarcity. The person who feels financially complete already, who lives from the assumption that money flows naturally, takes action from a completely different state. Their actions look similar on the surface. They might work the same hours. but the energy behind their actions is completely different. One acts from lack, the other acts from abundance. And the quantum field responds not to the action, but to the state from which the action originates. Have you noticed this in your own life? When you desperately needed something, it seemed impossible to get. But when you did not care, when you let go, things flowed effortlessly. That is not coincidence. That is quantum law. A retired teacher in her late 50s described this perfectly. She told me, "I spent my whole career chasing a better salary, applying for higher positions, taking extra certifications, always pushing, and the money never came the way I wanted. When I retired and finally stopped chasing, I started a small garden blog just for fun. No financial expectations, no pressure. Within a year, it was generating more passive income than the raises I had chased for 3 decades. The money came when I stopped needing it to come." That is the force paradox in action. Her blog was not more valuable than her years of teaching, but the state from which she created it was fundamentally different. She created from joy instead of lack, from curiosity instead of desperation, and the quantum field responded to that signal with abundance. What can you do today? Before any money-related action, whether it is checking your bank account, sending an invoice, applying for a job, or making an investment, pause for 10 seconds, take one deep breath, and silently ask yourself, am I doing this from lack or from fullness? If the answer is lack, do not force yourself to feel abundant. Simply wait until the desperation softens even slightly. Then act. That 10-second pause can change the entire energetic signature of your action, and over time, it trains your nervous system to approach money from fullness instead of fear. This single shift, from chasing to allowing, from forcing to assuming, is what Neville Goddard considered the master key to all manifestation. And when applied specifically to wealth, it becomes the most powerful financial strategy that no business school will ever teach you. Now that you understand the 4 invisible programs, I want to take you through an experience that can begin rewiring your financial identity at the deepest level. This is not visualization. This is not affirmation. This is a somatic state change, the only kind of change that your subconscious takes seriously. Find a comfortable position. Close your eyes if possible. Let your body settle. Feel the weight of your hands, the support beneath you, the air entering your lungs without effort. Take 3 slow breaths. With each exhale, release 1 layer of financial tension. The bills you are thinking about, let them go for now. The uncertainty about next month, release it. The number in your bank account, let it dissolve. For the next 2 minutes, that number does not exist. Now place your attention on your heart. Feel it beating. That beat has sustained you through every financial challenge you have ever faced, every moment of not having enough, every fear, every worry, and you are still here. Your heart is still beating. You have survived every financial storm so far, 100% survival rate. Now from that place of safety, introduce a feeling, not a thought, a feeling, the feeling of financial peace, not wealth yet, not millions, just peace. The feeling of knowing that you have enough, right now, not tomorrow, now. Let your body absorb this feeling. Notice how it changes your breathing, your posture, your heartbeat. That physical response is your nervous system accepting a new baseline, a new financial frequency, and from this frequency, let a quiet knowing emerge. The knowing that money is not something you chase, it is something that flows toward the frequency you hold. And right now, in this moment, you are holding the frequency of financial peace. That is enough. That is the seed from which everything grows. Stay here as long as you need. And when you open your eyes, carry this feeling with you into your next conversation, your next decision, your next interaction with money. Because from this moment forward, your subconscious has a new reference point. Not the scarcity you inherited, not the poverty frequency you have been broadcasting, not the upper limit that kept you locked in place, not the force that pushed money away, but the quiet, powerful, unshakable knowing that you are someone for whom money flows naturally, not because you earned it through suffering, but because you shifted the only thing that ever mattered. your state. What you just experienced is not a relaxation exercise. It is the quantum method that Neville Goddard taught as the foundation of all creation. He said that creation is finished. Everything you desire already exists in the quantum field as a probability. Your job is not to create wealth. Your job is to become the version of you that naturally receives it. And that version is not someone who tries harder, it is someone who feels differently. The 4 programs you learned today, the scarcity inheritance, the poverty frequency, the upper limit response, and the force paradox, are not enemies to be fought. They are patterns to be observed and replaced, not with force, with awareness, not with struggle, with a new state. Every night when you close your eyes, you have 5 minutes to impress your subconscious with a new financial identity. 5 minutes where your conscious defenses are down and your subconscious is completely receptive. Those 5 minutes, practiced consistently, can undo decades of financial programming. Not because you are forcing change, but because you are giving your subconscious a new truth to operate from. And the subconscious does not question truth. It does not debate it. It simply builds your world around it. Starting tonight, you have the power to choose what truth it builds from. Here is what I want you to understand about what just happened. You did not just learn 4 concepts about money. You experienced a state shift, and that experience, however subtle it may have felt, left an imprint on your subconscious that no amount of reading or thinking could have created. Because your subconscious does not learn from information, it learns from experience. And the experience you just had, that moment of financial peace in your body, that feeling of safety with money, that quiet knowing that abundance is your natural state, that experience is now part of your neurological history. Your brain recorded it as something that happened to you, and from this moment, it becomes a reference point that your subconscious can access whenever it needs to. The next time financial stress rises, your nervous system now has an alternative pathway. It does not have to default to the poverty frequency. It can choose the frequency you just activated. Not automatically at first. At first you will need to consciously choose it, but with repetition, the new pathway becomes stronger, and the old one weakens. This is neuroplasticity applied to wealth. This is quantum physics applied to your bank account. This is Neville Goddard applied to the one area of life that causes more suffering than almost any other. And the most beautiful part is that it requires no external change, no new job, no new investment, no new strategy, just a new state. And the state you need is available to you right now. It has always been available. You just did not know it was there. Now you do. Write in the comments, "I am the frequency of wealth." Those 7 words are not for me. They are for your subconscious. When you type them, you are taking an action that is coherent with the new state you just experienced. And your subconscious registers that coherence as proof that the shift is real. Share this video with anyone you know who has been struggling financially despite their best efforts, because the problem was never their effort, it was their program. And this video can be the moment they finally understand what has been running in the background of their mind. If you want the complete system to reprogram your financial identity over 21 days, my guide, Awaken Your Quantum Power, is linked in the pinned comment. It takes everything you learned today and turns it into a daily practice that compounds over 3 weeks until your new financial identity becomes permanent. Subscribe and turn on notifications, because in the next video we will reveal the specific technique Neville Goddard used to reprogram his subconscious every night before sleep, and how to apply it specifically to your financial reality. Your relationship with money is about to change, not because the world changed, because you did. And that is the only change that ever mattered. Neville Goddard spent his entire life teaching one truth. The world you see is the world you assumed into being. And the financial world you live in is the financial world your subconscious created from assumptions you never chose. Today, those assumptions lost their invisibility, and an assumption that has been seen can never control you the same way again. Your wealth was never outside of you. It was always waiting inside behind a program you did not write, broadcasting on a frequency you did not choose, limited by a thermostat you did not set, and chased by a force that pushed it further away. Now you know, and knowing is the first act of creation.